Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Shadowverse. So I finished all of the gameplay with Luna. Um, Nothing's particularly too hard as far as beating the challenges there. It is worth mentioning that since in Luna's story you fight the dream version of the robber multiple times, he does attack you with different styles of decks. So like one might have been a dragon craft, one might have been a blood craft, one I think was a forest craft. So you do get enough variety that each of the leaders, I imagine, play against each of the other leaders. Although, in all fairness, I don't think any of them have gone against Portalcraft at all. Which is just more evidence, I think, that Portalcraft was a addition that was added later after the fact, and not part of the initial lineup. I also did some researches. Apparently, as far as I can tell, there are no promo codes, which is weird because it says on the menu under the More button, promo codes. Seems like there's basically none there. And there are sometimes promo cards that are real world printed cards of Shadowverse, but they're given away in packs at like live events, and the packs have, I mean, you really can't even call them packs. They are single cards wrapped in foil, so that does not fall under the category of a pack of anything. And it's real questionable whether they've ever given away enough of the basic cards or enough of the cards in general that you could actually play Shadowverse in the real world in a paper format. The video I saw of the real world promo cards did not seem to have any kind of mechanic whatsoever for the evolve concept, and all of the card was just the artwork with the cost and the attack and the defense. So there's kind of no like card text or anything from what I could see, which definitely would fall in line with a promo card more than something that was actually playable. In all honesty, if Shadowverse was going to be made into an actual real world card game, you would probably have to make it with kind of an envelope of some sort where there was a card inside of the main card and you would pull it out, and on one side would be the evolved form that you would put on top, and on the other side would be the card text, which that would work, but then that would inherently make your cards triple thick, which would probably make them a lot more expensive to print and a lot more difficult to put sleeves on and take care of. And if you were going to make some kind of envelope, you basically would have to glue two cards together to have a envelope or pack behind it, and that really wouldn't work too well. I suppose you could have an evolve deck next to your main deck, but then every time you tried to evolve something, you would have to shift through your evolve deck, and that would be way too much time. Particularly when it seems that there are 1,700 cards plus in this game. This is rather a late game, rather an old game, as it were, and I'm very late to the party, as it were. It still seems like it's playable, but yeah, we are approaching past the 4th year into the 5th year of a collectible card game, which goes to show that it's an established card game, but it's probably not going to be the best experience for new people. And there's really no way to fix that at all. You kind of just have to keep riding. The Shadowverse creators could make it Shadowverse 2.0, but why call it Shadowverse? at all, why not just make a new card game and take what they've learned from Shadowverse and continue to support Shadowverse, but not put your main effort into it. I also did find that there is a very small amount of censorship in the game. I already knew this, but yeah, some cards have added just a little bit of fabric here and there. Isabella's leader, like, normally in the uncensored version, the cloth in the middle here would be missing, which I had thought that might be the case with the see-through rope or lattice here. So, like, but on that thought, there really isn't large changes being made even when the cards are being censored. Sometimes some skirts will have like a tear in the side, so you could see slightly higher up their thigh, and they'll fill in that tear. It almost comes down to like artistic localization decisions more than actual censorship, because there wasn't anything super egregious where Luna's, for instance, wasn't censored at all, as far as I can tell. And I don't think Orisa was really censored. I think it was only Isabella. So, yeah. I suspected some of that, but it's not really that big of a deal, really. As much as censorship in other games have been way worse, certainly. It's much like the Yu-Gi-Oh card games that have been censored. Oops. Well, I have to load back in. I left the game just sitting on the menu. Yeah, I kind of want to look at Cygames and see what else they've made. It's also worth mentioning that the premium currency does not cross over devices. So if you buy money through Steam, which in my case, if somebody like gifted me a gift card on Steam and I wanted to probably waste it on Shadowverse, and I bought gems on Steam, they would not be on my Android cell phone account, even though it's the same account and everything else stays the same. So you don't want to go add a bunch of gems, a bunch of premium currency on one account and then add a whole bunch of a currency in another account. Let's hop into the game now. It's too much setup. And again, we'll just have to do the first battle, and then we will be done with it. There is a possibility in this story that we are wrong about Urias, in the sense that we assume that he was trapped in the castle in his coffin, just kind of frozen in time.
Time to battle.
If he has just been trapped in the castle but awake, that would be kind of weird. Alright, now we have no reason not to have automatic play next line, so we'll get back to that and it'll save us several minutes.
Crumbling. How long has it been? Is this reality? No, something is amiss.
So apparently
that I should return from oblivion after so long.
Seems like the shadow woke him up.
Has some fool taken up residence in my home? You are not permitted here. State your business at once.
So we've already seen most of this conversation.
I am no other.
You're awake. Those beasts are under your command.
Excuse me?
Don't play innocent. As an enemy of the crown, you must die.
So, yeah, you would kind of want to see, particularly for Urias, some flashbacks at some point, or some of the backstory for him, because we definitely kind of know he's barely done anything at all since he's woken up. Like, he's looking for Balthazar, the old king.
Prepare for defeat.
And once again, this will be just an example of, in her story, she wins this battle, and in his story, he wins the battle. In Bloodcraft, some cards have Vengeance. Vengeance is an ability that activates when your leader has 10 defense or less. So, play this, which doesn't have Vengeance. And then this deals 3 damage to all allies and enemies. Using Demonic Storm now will destroy your followers, so don't play it yet. I would say that Urias's Vengeance ability is probably one of the most difficult ones to play, considering how life is fairly precious in this game, and you would need, for me to be comfortable, a decent balance of life losing and then life gaining ability to try and balance your life to always being at 10 damage or less, but not too low. So we're gonna fight.
Wait, that's it?
And then we're going to use Demonic Storm.
Darn it all!
Vengeance is now activated because your defense is less than 11. You can now play Dark General, which, what is her Vengeance ability?
Rage empowers me.
She gains Storm. Followers with Storm can attack on the same turn they're played. Dark General has Storm, so use it to defeat your opponent. Okay.
Cowardly creature.
I'm sorry, Princess.
Yeah. It kind of feels like Vengeance by default should do 1 damage every turn at the end of the turn to the opponent also, for so much that you have to sacrifice there, or the cards with Vengeance have to be really good. Excellent. It may seem risky to just have 10 defense, but Bloodcraft is able to stage a remarkable comeback. Demonic Storm is now yours. Add it to your deck and play a story match.
Be proud, warrior. You fought well. Ha!
He's like the only one he's actually complimented.
I beg your pardon. My hours have been stolen. And so I must spend them with great care.
Urias, wait!
One thing I could say about Shadowverse.
Is this? May we meet again?
Somebody cut him. Like, one thing I'd say about Shadowverse, since it is taking that step towards having anime girls in slightly lewd costumes, although I would argue, particularly for Shadowverse, that they more are obsessed about the fashion and just putting more and more crazy outfits on people. But if they were going to take a step in that direction, it would be interesting to see a card game go the full route that way. That being said, there's really no need for that because there's a modding community out there that, in any popular game, you can get a mod for Hearthstone that will literally change all the art into basically naked characters. If Magic the Gathering Arena maintains popularity, I'm sure there will be a mod that comes out for it too. But having the game really embrace it would change the base character poses and the base outfits in that way. Of course, then you're very much going for a niche audience, and most collectible card games are not going for a niche audience. It might be a good idea to go for a niche audience though, particularly if you start from the right foot to realize that you're just not going to be able to beat Magic or Hearthstone. But yeah, they definitely are in a weird middle ground with their art style. It's not something that I would be upset with a 10-year-old looking at or seeing in its current censored format, but I definitely could see that some parents of some 10-year-olds, particularly conservative and religious parents, would be upset with their kids seeing the 17,000 cards and perhaps 1,000 of them having girls in skirts and suspenders and high boots and lots of cleavage. But then again, those same parents might also never approve of playing a card game at all, because there definitely are parents out there that say all card games are gambling. Like they just have a fundamental lack of understanding of what gambling is. Although, is there actually gambling in this game?
Centuries have surely passed.
Sort of. I mean, if you get into an arena and you're getting rewards when you win,
he was a man, and the lives of men are fleeting.
there's a little bit of gambling there, although there's also skill in it, so it's
he doesn't seem like someone who likes to play.
Game of skill, kind of in the same way that poker's a game of skill.
Our compatriots are nowhere in sight.
Hello there. I'm on an adventure. Do you want to be part of it? You can be the person who gets killed.
Your courage is admirable, but such a one-sided battle would bring me little joy. Tell me, little one, where is Balthazar?
I don't know. Who's that?
Has the very memory of the champion vanished?
Hey, what's wrong? We should start now.
Those are the ones to whom you spoke.
So he does see the ghost. There's really not a lot to say. We just saw this part. Yep.
Why won't you let me kill you?
You are mightier than your form suggests.
It would probably be helpful if all of these characters were from like completely different countries.
I'm leaving. Are you ready, Mother and Father?
And frankly, you could have each of the leaders.
Are they not?
You could have each leader be effectively a king, queen of a different country, all on like a diplomatic mission, or a major general. That would explain why they would have so many followers in the card game.
You must have heart, little one.
And it certainly would make the characters more important in totality if you started from that perspective and explain why the Morning Star seems to be targeting these leaders specifically. So he really had nothing to say there.
Something approaches.
Yeah, he feels like he's going to be much like Rowan,
Brood of the beasts from Castle Darkstone,
where he just has very little to say except for his general desire to fight everybody and anything.
Ha! Weaklings! Your puerile tactics doom you, swarm beasts!
So he does kind of feel like a JoJo Bizarre Adventure type character that just is obsessed with fighting, or like a Dragon Ball character, Goku, that's just obsessed with fighting. So I imagine he's just looking for Balthazar to fight him once more.
That was incredible.
You seem capable. My name is Urias Formon. You are?
Dragspear. First name Rowan.
A worthy fighter, no doubt.
I think I know you.
Fortune has brought the two of us together. Those beasts have no passion for battle. I challenge you.
There is, I suppose, an argument that a vampire's strength should be more hidden. That they should be more emaciated on top of just being pale and white from lack of sun. But I would always have imagined a vampire to be of medium build, but then shockingly strong for that medium build, and amazingly fast. And I definitely put them more as fast than strong. And most vampires have the ability to at least somewhat brainwash and hypnotize people into compliance, which again would be more in the medium build concept. So they've really taken some elements of a character that likes to fight and put it into vampire, when if you took those elements out and just made this a character that loves the fight and he's just obsessed with it, you could give him some more character and have Urias be more of a standard vampire archetype. Now, I don't know if having him be a standard archetype improves the story in any way.
And insulting.
Insulting?
But
having like dragon curse on him would
fearful of me and fearful of yourself.
Would encourage him to want to fight.
Why?
I can't lose control.
So you welcome defeat?
If that's what I have to do.
I see. Then I shall continue to seek a worthy opponent. I am finished with you.
Yep. Clearly some of these leaders
Allow me to inquire.
Really were just added to be foes
I'm not much
with
of
the
one for
main
history.
heroes.
History?
Wait, Urias Formond? That can't be your real name. You're saying you're a vampire?
That is no concern of yours.
Well, he just fought him, though. He just fought him with vampire abilities, and he just showed his vampire abilities. So, Dragspear really has no reason to go, oh, now you're saying you're a vampire. He looks like a vampire. He's used vampire abilities. His eyes have glowed red. In the card game, he would have fought him with vampire abilities.
Trepidation is unbecoming in one of noble birth.
So I guess this is Balthazar.
It's natural when facing an opponent like you, Urias. After all, you'd be deadly if you ever hit the mark. I know fortune tellers more accurate than you.
If only your statecraft were as sharp as your tongue.
They do look like they
Let us
might be
bring
brothers.
this battle to a conclusion.
I kind of like the outfit on Balthazar. It's not
What is left
too
in this world
extreme.
but middling weakness?
The idea of a whole country full of vampires
You
would
look
be very
stronger than the
interesting.
others.
Like
We
a
must
whole
fight to be that
whole
of a
country of necromancy and alchemy. Yeah, that definitely would scale up this conflict, which is supposedly a global conflict. It happens on such a small map. Like, even if the
You are
map
by no
stayed the
means
exact
feeble,
same
but you do not
size,
hunger for battle,
but scaled itself
nor do
way
you
up,
thirst after
so
victory.
each dot was
Begone.
a indicator of
I
what
am
country
truly
they were
alone.
in. That would be interesting. Yeah, but we are absolutely getting nothing here. So Urias's desire, I imagine, when he gets trapped in the Morning Star, is just to find a worthy
In some
opponent,
corner of
worthy
the world,
opponent,
there
and
must
find him.
exist a worthy opponent.
And
Come out from the shadows.
he probably will just be unhappy with
Why are you here?
whoever he fights
Are
in the
you a
dream world.
vampire?
That I am.
I'm not sure exactly how to put this, but I need your help bringing someone back.
I cannot assist you.
No, you have to.
He
come
just
with
says
me.
no instead of...
You do not understand the extent of my strength.
Don't think you can brush me off.
This would have been a great point to have way more conversation, and instead it's just an excuse for a fight. And yeah, if this was just a visual novel,
I told you, I am far stronger
there's
than
actually
you realize.
no story here, or dialogue
What
choices,
do you want
or
from me?
or just
need to bring
entertainment
someone back
in
to
the
life.
story anyways.
You're proof that it's possible. I think it may have to do with your blood.
So
You have to let me investigate.
I don't know, I
You are delusional.
I would feel
Death can no more
fairly
be reversed than the hours of the day.
fairly upset with the way this
Vampires' lives
was
may be longer than those of
this
humans,
story was written.
but they end all the same.
You're lying. There has to be some clue in your blood.
My blood is my own. It is unrelated to my awakening. For that, I must thank some force beyond my ken. Death is eternal. Had I died, I would not be before you now.
I'm not going to give
It
up just like that.
Might be interesting
This grows
if the Morning
tedious.
Star
You must
appeared
accept your fate.
and gave
Farewell.
them all of their magical abilities, and then you went on the journey with each of the leaders,
If death
learning
were reversible,
their...
I would have you return, Balthazar, to fight again. This time I would triumph.
Yeah. If the Morning Star just appeared and turned him into a vampire, that would be interesting, and then that would also explain the reason why they would need to battle so much and why they would start off so weak, and then gain abilities and gain cards. But yeah, if you were to say this is the land of the elves and give it like a fancy name, and then you would map this out as the land of the necromancers, and then you map this out as the land of the vampires, and then you map this out as the land of the dragon fighters, lands of dragons. Oh, you'd probably put that way on the left or the right. And then you have this be the land of the Havencraft, the religious country, and then you have one that's like a land of the Swordcraft. Does that leave anybody else out at all? And then you could put the Morning Star directly in the middle of the map if I was going to do this, and zoom out just a little bit more so that the Morning Star doesn't take a ridiculous amount of space of the map, but have all the countries end up colliding at the same time, and then everybody meets each other maybe for the first time or the second time, perhaps at the Morning Star in the middle. And then they could just fight regular card characters instead of fighting each other. And there might be better ideas there. Yep. Maybe I would be a bad,
The one called
like,
Dragspear
creative
spoke the
director.
truth.
I think I'd be good, but
Only your lifeless bones
but everybody
remain.
thinks that.
I am without a rival in this world.
But maybe I would just
Urias
just second guess a lot of people and want second writes and rewrites, and
State your name.
maybe that wouldn't be in the budget, but
How
that
did she
would be the
approach so
case
stealthily?
that I would probably want for a lot of games, and I would hope that that would lead to games being better written. I think this really is just a
You are
very
not capable of that.
low effort first pass of stories.
Those who suffer. But I am not so lowly as to be defenseless.
We shall see. Witness my true power.
So it's kind of interesting here. Eris, for the first time, kind of attacks Urias, where every other time she's
I cannot give you the fight you desire, but I know
mostly
where you should go to find it.
pointed them towards just the Morning Star.
It is a place where all desires are fulfilled. A place where all that is sought can be found.
These are idle babblings.
The Morning Star. I speak of the large crystal cluster to the northwest.
So
There
those are crystals?
awaits the challenge that you seek.
Yeah, he wouldn't even know what the Morning Star is.
She is gone. Perhaps rumors of the Morning Star are all that remain to me. Farewell,
So,
Balthazar.
apparently the Morning Star may have shown up before. But honestly, the more interesting story is, how did Balthazar use his daughter, the princess, as a way of sealing Urias away? Like, did he perhaps poison the princess's blood and then sacrifice her to him, so that Urias, through drinking her blood, got
The thrill of true contest and the threat of defeat.
got poisoned and defeated?
Perhaps soon I will know these again.
Although we don't even know if Urias really drinks blood. He may just be a vampire that doesn't do that.
Away! You cannot contend with me. Well, your form is most intimidating. This may be the worthy opponent I seek.
This might be the only time that the ultimate form of these shades transformed into somebody. That shade never gets a name.
You are but a pale imitation. Indeed, this world is barren. My strength has made me an exile twice over. Try to destroy me, beasts.
So yeah, it's been barely 30 minutes, just slightly over. And we're already halfway through.
The Morning Star.
So the second half of the story feels like it's gonna be really long.
Adversary to the crown. You have breathed your last.
Though you are weak, you are passionate. Let us fight.
One more fight with her. So you have like 2 fights with her, where in most of the stories it seems like you kind of only fight the other people once.
Show me more of what you have learned.
It would be my pleasure. What's going on?
And it's just gonna be the same animation again, which, if you didn't do the Orisa storyline, you would never know that Nexus, it has the body of Lysaria. I guess I have to kind of applaud that they didn't bother to try and have somebody kidnapped for every single story, because that felt like that could happen. But every character does have something that they're, some person that they care about, or people that they care about. That seems to be a very recurring theme that probably won't work very much for Urias, because he only cares about finding a generic opponent. Maybe, oh, but Balthazar. And the thing we haven't seen so far is why this game is called Shadowverse. There's kind of nothing there in that case.
The morning star overpowered her in an instant. This must be the challenge the priestess spoke of. Its power calls.
Yeah. I think also some of these symbols, because there's like 2 or 3 symbols that show up as different kinds of magics. It feels like there should be, at some point, an explanation of what the symbols mean and what they do. What kind of magic they are. For a game called Shadowverse, it wouldn't have been surprising if they got swallowed by the Morning Star and ended up in a different universe that they had to constantly have to fight monsters in. Yep. When you look at his outfit for a king, this seems very reasonable in art style. Maybe you get rid of the robe, or at least get it to half length, get rid of some of the furriness. Maybe you scale the sword down so it isn't so long that it's all the way off the screen. But that's kinda it. You could get rid of these belts, but this seems very reasonable compared to even his outfit, which is still flowing with just a ton of extra details here and there, which just makes it harder for them to draw more versions of them, more positions and movements. Which that would have been a lot more interesting if you saw the leaders during games and outside of games moving around and feeling like they actually are real life.
It is a place where all desires are fulfilled.
Yep.
A place where all that is set.
You have to kind of develop in these visual novel type elements a blind eye to the fact that the characters are literally frozen in place with just a mouth movement at most, a lot of times. It is kind of South Park-ish. That's why I'm such a big fan of the Live 2D software that takes what would look normally like this and then runs an algorithm and like a skeletal system under it to have them kind of stretch and skew back and forth in a loop, which makes them look like they're actually moving. Where here, the guy shaking back and forth in totality doesn't look realistic at all.
Could there really be a worthy opponent in this Morning Star? Again! I challenge you again!
I will admit, though, that the live 2D system kind of becomes its own kind of unique thing where it kind of feels like all the characters are drunk if it's turned up too much and misused. Because, yeah, it kind of feels like the characters just lean forward and lean back and then lean forward and lean back.
Urias, I swear, you've got the strength of 100 men and half the
But it's
strength of a
movement at
child.
least. Whereas you have a case like this where the lights and the candles fading in and out are quite distracting because of all the stillness here. The human brain and eyes are designed to focus on movement more than stationary. So, in general, all I'm seeing is just the lip flaps and the candles. We're getting no story here, other than he fought Balthasar. It's one sentence.
Perhaps I am indeed the pathetic one. What joys do I have? Before me this world falls to pieces and crumbles. The vampires were gluttons, and the humans were murderers. Now even the great Balthasar himself disappoints me.
You may pretend to be a loner, Urias, but you are simply alone.
This might be an interesting
Perhaps you are correct.
twist in your eyes if he becomes a hero,
The meaning of solitude.
just because he wants to find more people to
You are
fight.
nothing but an impostor.
I mean, that would be something, but there definitely was not a turnaround for Luna, really, to the point where she was going to become a hero fighting bad guys. And you might
Most
want to see
entertaining
that.
for an impostor.
Enough! Let us end this nonsense.
That decision is not yours to make. It is mine, and mine alone.
This does seem like he is not
More! May the battle grow fiercer
defeating the guy. Because his desire is for him to be stronger. Yeah, that's the first time he,
Is that all you can do?
that's the first time he
Don't let your
disappeared.
guard down yet, Urias. What's wrong? The battle is only beginning.
The impostor has nothing to constrain it. So long as I remain in this place, I will be able to fight without end. Fight against this impostor of Balthasar. How worthy an opponent might he be?
Yep. So his own
He is
desire.
surely unworthy. No real joy can come from fighting an impostor.
Yeah.
We'll see about that
But
yet.
I don't
Rally, soldiers!
like wrath, rage, loneliness.
You cannot win with tactics, so you try to overwhelm
Like,
me with numbers.
I really don't think we are in the realm of each character supposedly representing a 7 deadly sin. Maybe you could say he was a glutton. He's a glutton not for food, but he's a glutton for battle. That's about the closest you could say. But him calling the other vampires gluttons kind of works against that argument.
You're through, vampire.
Now,
Sluggish
in all fairness, as far as the understanding of the 7 deadly sins in Japanese people, it's not really that much. If you just have to watch the Netflix anime 7 Deadly Sins to see that, yeah, they just picked some random anime characters they wanted to have, and they gave them names based on the 7 Deadly Sins, but not particularly characteristics around that.
It is easy. It is all too easy. For a brief moment, I thought that my thirst for battle
If
might be satisfied.
the leaders if the leaders had way more characterization at this point before they get into the Morning Star, and then there was the revelation that they had this character flaw or sin in their past or something. In theory that works, but it only works if the viewer actually cares about the leaders. And the leaders, you just don't need to.
Nexus. Yes, her.
So it'd be interesting if he just fights her directly, because it seems like nobody has actually managed to fight.
In that case, she is grossly inept.
I agree. Grossly inept.
Mighty Nexus will bring liberation to the world. You must think yourself a god if you presume to mock her.
I do not presume to be a god, and I have little interest in divine affairs. So enough of you. Let us bring this to a conclusion, you pale imitation of Balthazar.
So, much like Luna's story, he's just fighting Balthazar over and over again. And in this story, sometimes it seems like he's taking blows, but in the actual game, he'd be winning.
Have you at last understood? This is the world for which you wished. Your eyes forewarned.
We're getting a different twist here, where Balthazar is revealing things instead of Eris revealing things. Yeah, that would have probably been better for all of the stories. Like, there really is no reason to have Eris show up.
In the end, you are nothing more than an imposter. One inferior to the true Balthazar.
That cannot be. I am stronger than Balthazar, and I am stronger than even you. That is the very reason this dream was created.
You are speaking only of raw strength. For all your might, you have no will of your own. You are like so many others. A hollow shell.
Why do you hunt us, Urias? Why? Are we not both vampires?
So Urias was hunting other vampires.
Compared to you and the others. Where I thirst for glory in battle, you merely thirst for blood. I cannot bear to look upon you gluttons. May your blood be scattered to the earth.
They're not going to bother to animate any of that.
Strength on its own is directionless. Thirst for battle is helpless. Only when the two join is a mighty warrior born. An imposter such as you can.
You're getting into a dangerous situation here where Urias is not going to learn anything.
You have sensed my thirst for victory, yes? Then you have understood my power. Never will an imposter be anything but an imposter. You were entertaining at first, but you are a distant second to him.
After all, you'd be deadly if you ever hit the mark. I know fortune tellers more accurate than you.
I wonder if they're trying to kind of imply that there was like a male-on-male gay relationship here, and they're just not going deep into it.
Balthazar,
Yeah.
you were a paragon of might.
That's pretty much half of the fighting games, is that they're secretly in love with each other. Or at least you can take it that way if you want to.
And now not even the imposter shows himself. Better to have fought the child than to come to the Morning Star.
Are you rejecting Serenity?
You again?
How do you remember what came before the Morning Star? Was it your strength, or was it your desire?
Yeah, he didn't forget
Who
anything.
can say? But memories are not lost that easily.
This is meant to be a place of serenity. One where wishes become dreams and ensconce you.
Serenity? It was not bad. But you exaggerated when you said my wishes would come true.
The almighty Nexus is divine. She cannot have misread your desires.
She seems to misread every
You believe
character's
that she is
desires.
a god?
And you do not.
I have sought for gods and found nothing. If there are such things, I have yet to see them.
You've searched for the gods.
I have. What more worthy opponents?
Which I imagine
Greater thirst for
this is what
victory.
Eris also did, is she searched for the
You sought
gods.
gods in order to battle them.
I see you cannot comprehend.
And I think
presence
Eris
must mean
ended
this
up
world is
making
nearing its
Nexus
conclusion.
on accident.
If that is so, I have one request for you.
Yes.
Allow me to meet with Nexus. Surely you can guide me to her.
Perhaps this is a foolish question. But what do you presume to do with her?
So-
Perhaps this is a foolish answer, but I will challenge her. Surely even a middling god is better than an impostor.
So he does just want to straight up
As the
fight
keeper
her.
of the dream, I have no choice but to stop you. You are too great a threat.
So it is you who controls this place. Prove to me that you are a worthy opponent.
So yeah, she is like protecting. Evil Eris over here is protecting Nexus, which does kind of
Once
seem like
again,
Nexus is fairly
I'm
weak.
rejected.
You are superior to an imitation, but you are still weak.
Was I mistaken? I believed that if I were to wrap you and the others in serenity, then a peaceful liberation would ensue.
Enough of this! What are you trying to say?
Our world overflows with despair, confusion, pain, and sorrow. I wished to liberate it.
Yeah, but why did she pick
The almighty
these
Nexus
leaders?
was poised to liberate the world by extinguishing it.
So she intends to extinguish the world. But what of this dream?
Yes, she has ensconced this world in a dream. She has brought serenity to the world so that you need not fear liberation. If you would only accept the dream, you would be liberated.
And the Morning Star
Why
is
must you
fairly
all
weak,
refuse?
apparently.
You
Because
do not understand, do you? How pathetic.
unless the monsters are just grabbing everyone who's weak enough for them
But
to
of
grab,
course,
and
your
the
Nexus is
8
prideful and
leaders
incompetent.
that we've played as are
No.
just strong
The
enough to
almighty
defeat the
Nexus is
monsters.
absolute.
Then what of the
But you
dream
would
it brought to me?
think that
It threw at me one
if the Morning
imposter
Star
after the
was
other.
strong,
They were all inadequate.
it would be able
This is
just
no
to suck
dream of
in
serenity
all
to me.
the life on
It
the
is no
entire
nightmare.
planet.
It is nothing but a wearisome fake.
Silence. The almighty Nexus is absolute. She is the one who brings liberation to the world. This is the truth.
Gone so soon. But I am skilled enough at hunting my prey.
So,
I have no use for you, impostor. Be gone so that my path might reveal itself.
he's gonna just chase after her. But is he gonna make it to Nexus? It would be very weird to end up doing this this leader's story first, because it would really invalidate all the others. And I totally believe some people would choose to play
Priestess is
the
trying to butcher
vampires
me.
first.
Fall dead, monster!
Your mockeries of blades are like splinters before me. They are helpless to defeat me. Surely you do not plan to flee again? You are the keeper of this place, are you not? Do not be afraid to speak.
Your lie is Formond. You pathetic monstrosity. All alone in the world.
So just throwing everything at him.
I shall fell you where you stand! Ha!
Such ridiculousness! Balthasar was a man unlike any other. How dare you use his image in such a way?
Prepare yourself, Urias!
I guess they might very well have just
You will anger me no
hard
further.
limited themselves to only having 3 copies of an enemy on one side. Because I guess maybe on a cell phone you'd start running out of room too.
Liberating the world, making others dream. Such foolishness.
I agree with them.
So infantile, so puerile. Perhaps you are a god, but you are not a worthy opponent. I have already lingered too long. Let us bring this dream to a conclusion.
The outside world is consumed by sorrow. Why do you insist on proceeding?
Because I do not wish to stagnate or degenerate. Away with you!
There's definitely too many of the other leader stories to where nothing happens to really come to the same conclusion that I had already come to, that this whole plan is infantile and ridiculous and just ineffective. Unless I'm just relating to Urias' perspective of what's going on way more than the other leaders. It really does seem like the other leaders are just kind of pointless.
At last you appear.
Luna's
But how
a
much can I expect from
perfect
Nexus?
example
She
of that.
surrounds herself with minions like you.
What so enamors you of fighting last of the vampires? You seem to be hunting for something, but what?
One born so fragile as you could scarcely understand.
He's not
I was
changing,
right,
which,
and all was simple for me. Too simple. That
although
is why I sought.
in all fairness, vampires
I
tend
sought
to
for a
be
reason to exist.
unable
I kept
to
searching
grow
till I
or
found
change
in the
mentally
heat
or
of battle.
emotionally.
Only when battling the powerful do I truly exist. To battle is to breathe.
And so it was for the others of your kind. Those prideful beasts consumed human beings.
Perhaps I too am prideful, but tell me, how is this different from you and your god? Is pride not the privilege of the mighty?
For her, it is justified. The almighty Nexus is no...
Who demanded that you liberate this world? Who wished for this dream of serenity?
Sorrow is consuming the world. That much is clear to all who look.
Enough of your preposterous talk. You already know that your beliefs are mistaken.
I wanted to liberate the world, to free the people from despair and sorrow.
You should not have assumed that all the world was seeking the same liberation as you. My life is not yours to define.
And so it
path I
seems
chose
like
was not...
he's literally talking
It no
Eris
longer
out of
matters whether you were correct.
Lead
me to
being the
Nexus.
person.
I warn you that refusal is not an option. Your thirst for victory is waning. What difference is left between you and the imposters?
I don't know anymore. Why have you done this to me?
Ha! To worry and flounder
So it
is the
does
privilege of the
seem
weak. Make
seem
the
like
most
you
of it.
almost certainly want to do this
There is,
story
however,
before Eris'
One
story.
thing of which I'm still sure. You have no need for this world.
Does Nexus lie beyond you?
Yes. She is prepared to extinguish the world at this very moment.
In that case, I must pay her a visit. Farewell, weak one.
So I don't know if she's lying or if he's just escaping at the very moment.
Farewell, Balthazar. And now to test the worth of Nexus. May it be the true challenge I have thirsted for.
And see, you would probably want to tell a story here where he fights Nexus before any of the other leaders, and then he just like fails miserably in the first attack and gets defeated, and all the other people then have to swing in and save the day. Okay, so yeah, that's like 30 minutes faster than going through Luna's story. And yeah, I still feel like we're gonna get a completely different story here. It'll probably be just as badly written and crammed in. It would be very nice to see if there was like 4 years of improvement in writing, and that this actually is a way better story. But then that will just shine a light on how bad these have been, really. But if there is improvement in the writing, that would be good news, because this Morningstar conclusion, after that, this might just be a cutscene. This might just be like a 10 or 20, maybe 30 minute to an hour long cutscene without any real battles, or maybe just one big battle, or 8 big battles. 8 would feel about right. And then we'll start the guild war, and if there's like major improvement in the story writing here, then that puts us at a good path that all the future challenges would be helpful. Also, I guess if we look at this, the vast majority of these chapters seem like they really are not broken down by leaders, which is going to make things way more manageable also. Let's see, we've got a new mission achievement. Reach level 10 in Shadowcraft. We collected that. There's reach level 15 in Shadowcraft also. Collected that. There is a challenge here that I personally will have to put a lot of extra effort into it to do. That is actually a very easy one to get if you focus on that, but where is it? Let's see. Achieve D1 rank, achieve C0 rank, achieve B0 rank, achieve A0 rank, achieve master rank. Some of these I'm not gonna get. Oh yeah, in practice mode there's a whole bunch of AIs too, so there's more we're gonna have to do, where yeah, you get like 200 rupees each time you defeat one of these characters in practice mode. Yeah, that's more stuff to do. And then you beat them on Elite Difficulty 2 and Elite Difficulty 3. And I don't think you stack. There you go. This is the one. Battle one player in private match without quitting. Gives you 100 rupees. Then it doubles to probably 2. Then it doubles to 4. Then it doubles to 8. And then it doubles to like 20. I believe 20 is the last one. So, yeah. You get quite a lot of rupees, gold, as it were, for playing private matches. But they have to be, I think, with different people. So, at some point I'm going to have to friend some people. And do that. And then clear chapter 12 of the Morningstar conclusion, which tells us there are 12 chapters. Okay. far as solo missions, like Swordcraft and Bloodcraft, I need to get 4 more of those. Havencraft or Portalcraft, I need to get more of those. And Runecraft. So, probably should really quickly, while I'm playing off screen, is get one done in Runecraft. And then we'll get 3 done with Havencraft and Portalcraft as long as I manage to get things done. And then Bloodcraft is what we will be playing anyway, so that'll be done automatically. And then the daily mission of temporary gems may not be particularly useful. And then I also wanted to mention that it does seem like pre-built decks are maybe a better offer than buying packs, because you have a better drop rate in that case. But if I was gonna buy pre-built decks, that would cost real world money. But that probably is your best bet, frankly, is to buy pre-built decks. But that's when you move out of the realm of free-to-play. And these, I just don't know how many tickets these are, but these are only temporary cards, so it doesn't even matter. And the back button still is a little bit of a problem. Let's buy one celebratory pack and then call it a day. Yeah, this is yet another symbol. It kind of looks like the Morning Star. So what did we get? Yeah, we got Moonrise Werewolf. Sorry, I just zoned out there for a second. Fanfare, if Avarice is activated, gain +2 in ward. What is Avarice? Is activated when at least 2 cards have been added to your hand from your deck this turn. Interesting. Interesting key phrase. And yeah, we already know Powerlifting Puppeteer. Put 2 puppets in your hand, and then if trying to give +1/+1 to all puppets in your hand. Puppets are 0 mana creatures. 0 mana 1/1s. Here we have Helio Dragon. If this card is discarded by an effect, summon an Ivory Dragon. If Overflow is activated, draw a card. During your turn, whenever you discard cards, restore X defense to your leader. X equals the number of cards discarded. So, what does the Ivory Dragon look like? Fanfare, draw a card if Overflow is activated for you. Here we have 8 Sophina Strength, which the number 8 kind of almost makes it feel like a tarot card. Let's see, it has Accelerate, summon at Strength. Fanfare, give all other followers +1/+1 in ward. While this follower is in play, all allied followers in play and that come into play can't take them more than 3 damage at a time. Yeah, it barely looks like anything has changed in the evolved form. It's just like flipped. Which, yeah. Let's see. What else do we want to see? There's a Solomon at strength. At the end of your turn, give +0/+2 to a random allied follower. Last words, give -2, -0 to a random enemy follower. It's just an amulet. Okay. Let's see. Was that the next one? No. Next we have a Blossoming Archer, which honestly she looks like just as good as Orisa does as a leader. And again, her outfit is nowhere as extreme with the frilliness, although there still is quite a lot here. You probably don't need a double belt across the chest and a large belt on the side. You could probably lose that. You probably lose half the flare on the bow and make it look like just a normal bow. And you could definitely maybe lose some of the background here that just seems rather distracting, and simplify it a little bit. Apparently that's a guy. That's a very feminine looking guy, but okay. I don't know. Like, this don't look like a... It sounds like a guy to me. So maybe we've got a cross-dressing blossoming elf. Or maybe they got the wrong voice actor. Next we have Pure Song Priest. Accelerate, restore 1 defense to your leader. If an allied follower with war doesn't play, draw a card. Fanfare, restore 4 defense. Let's see. Then we have a Selfless Noble. Fanfare, discard a card, gain +X equals the original cost of the discarded card. 9 mana card, so that'd be kind of hard to play. Then finally we have Dragon Impact. Give +1/+1 and rush to a Dragoncraft follower in your hand. Deal 5 damage to a random enemy follower. It can be played only when a targetable card is in your hand. Some of these rules are written on the cards when they probably could have just been generically written into the game itself. So we've got another emblem. So what did we just get? We didn't get something amazing, but Fortune's Hand does seem like it is trying to have cards that are based on the tarot 4 years into it. Yeah, the Hanged Man, for instance, is the recognizable tarot. The Chariot is recognizable. The Fool. Justice, yeah, okay. I see what they're doing. Which might mean that they're running out of ideas. But what you would want to do in a card game at this level of age is start doubling down on the characters. Making different versions of the same characters. The cell phone game that I played, Destiny Child, does that quite a lot. They have like red, blue, green, white, and black styles, categories of elemental characters, and they'll double down on a popular character, and if they originally are a blue version, a blue elemental character, they'll make like a green version of that card and give it some different abilities, but then the artwork and the character it represents will stay the same. That way I could, after many years of playing Shadowverse, for instance, I could say I know exactly what Black Dragon this is. He's easily recognizable, and have a name for him instead of just having a generic Black Dragon. It may very well be that that is a dread dragon, and we might at some point know who this fighter's name is and know who it is. I'd say Magic the Gathering is about 50-50 on naming the characters, whereas I would say almost all the characters in Hearthstone have personalities and some name that you could probably give them. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.